I guess real quick, I'll hit on the Dabbleverse thing. I don't know how I get dragged into this. I guess because I'm involved. I do Shuli's Uncle Rico, and then I do Who Are These Podcasts with Carl and Company. And Stuttering John is just losing his mind, and it's hilarious to watch. And he doesn't understand that everyone that watches him is watching him because he's a blithering idiot. It's like the proverbial car wreck. You gotta look. So before the show, I'm watching that moron. I'm just like, I gotta watch this. He's self-destructing, and he's just so stupid, and he's got a complete lack of self-awareness. Complete lack of self-awareness. Hey, Pocky, what are you wearing? What kind of clothes do you wear? Oh, the Tony Two Shirts thing. Have you seen John on camera? Have you seen what he's wearing? He wears his own brand shirts from things that he's done. No one really does that. And they're 30 years old, 20, 30 years old, just like the last time he's done anything. And he's, obviously I'm completely crazy wearing a shirt over a t-shirt. Oh my God, it's nuts. But, what else are you going to talk about? What else? He's bragging about having 200 viewers on his show. I swear, if I ever got to the point where I only had 200 viewers on anything, on this, on my ABC show, on my YouTube channel, I on X, I'd just hang it up at that point. You got to hang it up. 200 views on the internet is like no one. And the greatest part, those 200 people, 199 of them are sincerely goofing on him. They can't stand him, and they're joking and goofing on him, and he's reacting to it. And there's one rotating kiss ass every month or two. It changes because he stabbed me in the back. So now he's not a fan of that person anymore. Yeah, it's entertaining. He sees me in the chat and he's like, "Oh, you just can't stop watching." Who am I to deny? Watching you come apart at the seams, John, is entertainment. Watching you mispronounce every other word, break into some of the worst renditions of songs with that horrible voice. I gotta say, there's something compelling about it, but not for the reasons you think. Here's a guy that's, always crowing about how talented he is and how successful he's been over the course of his life and how he still considers himself successful. What was the last thing he did? The Tonight Show? And when was that done? There's nothing. The guy has nothing going on except this little podcast that does 200 views, unless I'm in the chat, and then he could boost it up to like 400. But for the most part, it's just him yelling and screaming about how he's been victimized by people and screw that guy and this guy's a pussy, and there's just something about it. And it's definitely not him doing it on purpose. Howard Stern said, John, you're only funny when you're not trying to be funny. When you try to be funny, you're not funny. But when you're trying to be serious, you're just going through life, you're funny. Because he's a complete up. He's not smart. His latest thing is at 60 years old. He's 60 in like a month or two. 60 years old, he wants to become a lawyer. Like a child. Like a 7-year-old goes, "Mommy, oh, what do you guess what I want to be? Oh, a policeman. And meanwhile, the dumb mother doesn't realize that was yesterday. Today, little Johnny wants to be a lawyer. 60 years old. Here's a guy that hasn't done anything in decades. But he's gonna, he's gonna put his nose to the grindstone. While your nose is down there on the grindstone, grind off that hair that's growing out of the middle of your nose. And he's going to be a lawyer. That's the type of hilarious shit that goes on in this guy's life that he puts out there, and people just go, "Oh my God, he's retarded. He's absolutely an imbecile." A lawyer. The guy doesn't lift one of his gnarled, bony fingers to do anything. And then he just chooses arguably one of the hardest occupations to get into. It takes years. The best people, the smartest people, the people that have an in, maybe the son of a lawyer wants to become a lawyer and has those ins, little nepotism or whatever. It takes them years and years and years to become a lawyer, a working lawyer. Stuttering John Melendez, who says things like narcissist. He's a narcissist. He can't speak English. And then I'm watching Uncle Rico the other night, and someone brought up, they're hilarious. Someone brought up that, could you imagine going into the law offices of John Melendez, and he's taking a statement from you, and he's sitting there going, chick, 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 one finger typing on his typewriter. And then, all right, let me get the form for that. Do you honestly think that's gonna exude confidence? You think the potential client is gonna be like, this is my guy? Because at this point, it'd have to be 67 if he actually did it, which he never will, which is why I completely offered to pay for every dime of his education, any testing, the bar exam, that if he passes the bar exam and becomes a lawyer, I will reimburse him, save the receipts for every dime he spent becoming a lawyer. I'm not nice. I'm not a nice guy. I just could not be more confident that this jackass could ever become a lawyer. First of all, he's never even going to go through all the hoops. There's 1,000 hoops you got to go through to become a lawyer. He won't go through one of them. Secondly, he's too stupid. Law is very involved. There is a lot of reading. There's all kinds. What do you think? What do you think when you go into law office? All those books behind the lawyer. What are those there for? It's not a green screen, John, hiding a disgusting roach-infested house. Those are real books. They read them. And he's going to be a lawyer. What's tomorrow? Astronaut? I want to go to Mars. Believe me, you wouldn't get any argument from the planet Earth if you wanted to depart for the red planet. But he says, I can't stop watching. I can't even deny that. That's why the 99% of the people watching you are watching. Not for humorous anecdotes from the likes of John Melendez. Not for some knowledge he may impart to you. His trivia is truly trivial. His science, any type of science or math he talks about, because he professes to be a teacher. He was a substitute somewhere in California. Everything he talks about with this air of wisdom and knowledge when he says it, you literally, you learned it in the second grade. The planets, some simple math. And he talks about it like he's brilliant. And movie trivia, again, the most trivial. Do you know who directed Jaws? A little movie about a shark, Jaws. He spouts this stuff that any Down syndrome person would have the answer in a second. And this is the guy who's going to be a lawyer. And you want to be my attorney. He's not capable. He hasn't done anything. He's constantly talking about all these people in the business. He is a name dropper beyond name droppers. And he's constantly talking about these great relationships he's had with celebrities, behind the scenes people, producers, people in the music industry, writers. He talks about how he still chit-chats and corresponds with the writers from The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. And I ask again, where are they? Why haven't you called one of them with a brilliant idea, because you're so brilliant, and put something together, write something, produce it, and put it out and see what the people think about your brilliance and genius? Why would you all of a sudden go, I'm a lawyer? Maybe because you're involved with so many lawyers that are sticking you for so much money for frivolous lawsuits that you cannot possibly win. I see both sides. I see some of the filings and paperwork and stuff from this ridiculous case that he's brought against, who are these podcasts, and Uncle Rico. His lawyer is an idiot, just like him. You read some of these legal documents that they've submitted, and it's written like a child of 60 that wants to be a lawyer. There's no business in the game. And then I look at the other side's stuff, and it is spot on, man. Oh, it's going to be embarrassing is what it is. I can't imagine a judge looking at any of this and going, but John thinks he's going to get like hundreds of thousands of dollars from this. And I hear rumors all the time, but I hear he's asking people that he knows, I can't even say friends, to help him finance this. And if you give John $500, he promises to pay you back with like interest once he gets this huge settlement or wins the court case. He wants you to give him $500 betting on his case. Ooh, you want to be a sucker? What a sucker bet that would be. What a sucker. So that's this guy's life at 60, suing other podcasts because he's so devoid of talent. He doesn't have these friends and associates in show business in any capacity. He can't call them and collaborate to do something. He can't. They don't exist. So instead of doing that and using these scary talents that he's constantly talking about, instead of doing that for the past over 10 years, 15 years, he's decided to participate in these frivolous lawsuits against other people, just trying to make some money with a funny podcast. Should I work? Should I be creative? Should I do something? No, I'll just sue people. He is pathetic in every sense of the word. In every sense of the word. He doesn't understand shows like this and the show I do on ABC radio on Sunday nights, because it involves preparation. It involves research. It involves professional equipment. And it involves having the ability to convey an idea from your head, through your mouth, out to people's ears, and still be something coherent that people can understand. He'd rather just yell into a microphone about how he's the victim and everyone's out to get him. And that's what he does. And then if somebody snaps back at him or plays a clip of him or plays audio of an embarrassing phone call of him drooling and fawning over a girl that's recording him, he loses his mind and wants to sue. That's our John. That's our Stut Joe, our stuttering John Melendez. And yes, John, I'll keep watching because there's just nothing. There's just no one that retarded on podcasting. You can't find it. And sitting in the chat and reading the chat and contributing to the entire room full of 200 people that are mocking you, goofing on you, ragging on you is a fun hour or two in the afternoon. Yeah. So you got that going for you, which is nice. A little film called Caddyshack. Bill Murray. You may have seen it. Yeah. Well, he said he always wanted to make people laugh. They're laughing, John, right in your face.